Congratulations, if you are watching this video, you're now in your Think and Rich study group by Napoleon Hill, and I want you to turn around and I want you to give your facilitator a big clap and say thank you very much for inviting me onto this group and facilitating for it, because your facilitator truly is doing fantastic work. So give him or give her a big clap now and say thanks very much. Thanks very much. Good work. So I just want to tell you a little bit more about this book and a little bit more about how it came about and how we are running these study groups. I was inspired by Bob Proctor to run Think and Rich study groups, and now, as I said before, they've been run all over Ireland through many different facilitators, making sure that people are getting this much needed information. So I'd read this book before and I hadn't really understood it until Bob Proctor really explained the importance of it and how to take the action steps in it. So Bob Proctor is a teacher of success strategies, and he teaches abundance all over the world. He's made many people extremely wealthy through the knowledge and the information that he has shared. Now, Bob Proctor in 1961 was broke at the age of 26. He was earning 4,000 Canadian dollars and he owed 6. And he read this book because it was passed on to him by a very generous man, and he started to read this book. He's told, read this book, it will change your life. Proctor was always broke, he was always sick, and he was always complaining. And this man gets sick listening to him, and he said, Bob, take this book and read it, it'll change your life. So Bob was going through enough pain at that time that he wanted his life to change. So on page 28 in this book, it talks about writing your goal on a goal card. So Bob Proctor wrote down his goal on a card, and he wrote it down, and what his goal was to have 25,000 Canadian dollars. And he gave himself 5 years to have it. But he used to take this card out every single day and read with emotional intensity what he'd written on the card. And by the end of the year, Bob hadn't accumulated 25,000 Canadian dollars. He'd accumulated 175,000 Canadian dollars. And he couldn't believe it. And the following year, he had accumulated over $1 million. And he couldn't understand what had happened in his life. The only thing that he'd really changed was he started to read this book. Obviously, he took actions from the book, but he started to read this book, and he decided that if it took him the rest of his life to find out what had happened to him, that he would commit the rest of his life to studying this information, to studying this material, to find out and then to share it, because it had such a huge impact for him. So Bob done that. He started to study every book that he could possibly find on this type of philosophy. He started to read and look and research and speak to people. And now he's an organisation that teaches this philosophy all over the world. And in 2007, I became one of Bob Proctor's life success consultants. And Bob handed on the wisdom of how to teach these study groups, these Think and Rich study groups, to me in 2007. And your facilitator is handing this wisdom on to you. And this wisdom was handed from Napoleon Hill to Bob Proctor, and it was handed to Napoleon Hill by Andrew Carnegie, the wealthiest man in the world at the time that this book was written. Andrew Carnegie went to America to live at the age of 8, and he was just an ordinary steel labourer, and he went on to become the wealthiest man in the world at that time. He spent the first half of his life accumulating money, and the second half of his life giving that money away. You might be familiar with Carnegie Hall or Carnegie Library. Andrew Carnegie. And the philosophy in this book has been handed down from the wealthiest man in the world in that time, because he had such a strong want and a strong goal for everyone to understand and to know this information. And that's what these study groups are all about. It's about spreading and passing on this good news, this message, because it truly will help you in your life as you apply. So again, I want you to really thank your facilitator here, because they're doing a fantastic job. And I also want you to congratulate yourself on making the decision to join this study group, because you know that it's going to make your life absolutely fantastic. This is Stephen McYoung from AskStevie.com, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.